the major challenges to American agriculture and getting our messages out is that I think that we have, the American population is what, 2, 3, 4, 5 generations removed from the farm, one. Two, I think many people that, think that food comes from the grocery store, they have lost an appreciation of rural America and agriculture in this country. Plus, I believe that 24-hour news, point, counterpoint, I think agriculture is getting kind of a black nose, a black eye, if you will, on what we're doing, how we're producing food, the abundance of food production in this country. And again, it's time for, I think, for agriculture to sit back down, reframe itself, and rebrand itself for the American consumer. I believe that if we don't reposition, rebrand, reframe American agriculture, I'm concerned that we're going to see increasing amount of U.S. agriculture production go offshore. That the American consumer, they don't really care where safe, nutritious foods come from. If it comes from Brazil, if it comes from Russia, if it comes from Japan, they don't care, they'll buy it. And I have a real concern that if we don't get a handle and better educate the American people on food production in this country, it will go offshore. America's farmers and ranchers must get more involved in educating their members of Congress and their state legislators on the issues that are impacting their farming operations. Yes, it's going to be a farm bill piece of legislation is going to have an impact, but global climate change legislation is going to have a huge impact. Healthcare reform is going to have a huge impact on providing them and maybe their employees of a small business healthcare benefits here going forward. They have to get acquainted. They need to invite their member of Congress or that member of Congress, a staffer, to come out to their farming operation, bring them to the local coffee shop, get them acquainted with livestock production or grain production in this country, help them understand what it takes to raise a 285-pound pig, what the input costs and all that's associated with raising that pig, getting it to market, getting it shipped, processed, and exported to the global export market. They better pick up the phone, and call Newsweek and talk to the author of that story and give them the other side of that story and basically say to them, shame on you. Did you talk to a pork producer? Did you talk to a corn grower before you went and wrote that story? How come? They need to be responsible. So my takeaway is that I would tell agriculture, livestock producers, grain farmers, they have to get involved in telling their story, and what a better way to do that is getting on talk radio. We've got corn and soybean producers all across this country today in combines, okay, trying to get this crop out of these fields. They ought to be talking on talk radios, talking about the problems they're facing, trying to get corn and soybeans out of the field, and its impact on corn prices, and it's going to be impacting on their farming operations. I think it's critical that U.S. agriculture has got to go back and reframe ourselves. We need to develop clear, concise, and compelling stories about what we're doing on the farms, on our forest lands in this country, across rural America, and go back and reframe those messages and again communicate the very important work that we do, the service that we provide to the American consumer every day in this country.